Hey guys, good afternoon. How are we all? And I'm Kevin. I'm the co-founder of Artela network, and you can always mark me with this hamburger head. And I'm really glad to be here to share with you about Artela's work. So first of all, what is Artela? So Artela is an extensible blockchain enabling modular and customized dApps through EVM plus Aspect programming. So the key information here will be, number one, we are a new L1 network, and we are focusing on the issue of the extensibility. And number two, we are trying to make dApps more modular, more feature-rich by promoting new solutions called EVM plus Aspect. And what is Aspect and why we on Earth need such a new paradigm will be the basic topic I want to cover in today's talk. So the reason why we need Aspect will lead us to why we need EVM enhancement. And I think there's no doubt that EVM has already become the benchmark for data building patterns for most of the blockchain execution layers. But you do get several constraints regarding the customizability, the extensibility, and also the realizations for complex scenarios. Basically, that's the reason why we got some alternative solutions like pre-compile, app chain, non-VM, or like other programming languages to try to solve all these challenges. But they all get their own trade-offs, like pre-compile app chain, heavy for most of the developers. And as for the non-EVM, they still need time to grow to become the mainstream. So I think it's safe to say that the EVM is now the mainstream and the replacement cost for the EVM is extremely high and even infeasible. So what Artela is actually trying to solve is to find new solutions to promote and enhance the capability of the EVM while stay composable with it. So that's where we promote our new solutions like EVM plus Aspect. So in Artela, we will have a EVM equivalence execution layer. But besides that, we will allow developers to use the WASM runtime to build a native extension that is the Aspect in Artela as a coprocessor to co-work with the smart contract and enhance its capability for some specific scenarios and more functionalities. And the WASM runtime will also be a part of the Artela network, which means you will share the same level of the security as the EVM, and you will be run by the every node of the Artela network. And you may also wondering that we already get several, dual VM solutions. So what exactly set Aspect apart? So we're gonna need to take a closer look on how technically Aspect can separate different things. So from a technical perspective, we are utilizing the join point model for Aspect, which means the Aspect can be injected by the developers in the whole blockchain transaction flows. And which means the entire transaction lifecycle is now open for developers to customize. In another word, the programmable scope for developers right now on Artela is not just limited to the EVM sandbox, but extend to the whole execution process of the blockchain transactions. And the second thing is Aspect gonna have more access to the base layer resources and underlying APIs of the blockchain base layer, like call stack and call data. And the combination of these two features will make it possible for the Aspect developers to realize in-depth customizations while stay composable in the L1 level, or some more functionalities that cannot be realized elsewhere. The third thing is that the developers, they will have their own full discretion to decide whether they want to build, operate, or even monetize an Aspect. So let's say if you try to promote some modifications specialized for your dApps in the base layer level, you don't really have to rely on the really like heavy solutions like EIP to promote the global changes for your network. Instead, with the aspect, you can realize the composable and the lightweight manners of the partial upgrades specialized for your applications. And you can even monetize it by making it as a public services and be reused by other developers. As I mentioned, the 4 point for having aspect is to have a better execution layer supporting for more on-chain functionalities. So now let's shed some light on some real interesting use cases now possible on Artela. The first case is about the on-chain event-driven programming. I know you may not be familiar with these specific words, but it's kind of like a very vital and well-used, programming patterns both in Web 2 and Web 3. Like in Web 3, the liquidation process for, most of the DeFi protocols, the timely task system, and the backend systems, they are all the practice for the, the event-driven programming. But in traditional EVM architectures, it is nearly impossible to realize all this natively on-chain. So we have to rely on the third party, the keeper network, to monitor the execution result of the EVM and trigger the additional actions to promote such actions. This will introduce several trade-offs, like basically because we are relying on a third party and a synchronized realizations, so we'll definitely lose the most part of the composability with the on-chain smart contract, and we'll have to suffer minutes level of latencies. And also by introducing a third party, so basically we are talking about more risk assumptions. But this will not be a problem with the help of the aspect. As a coprocessor for the smart contract, let's say you can put some aspect before the block is finalized, and the aspect can monitor and analyze the results of the EVM execution and produce a corresponding just-in-time actions for the smart contract. So basically, we are talking about like a keeper network or automation services, but number one, with zero latency. Number two, have the native level of composability and the transaction level of customizability. You can really do a lot of cool stuff based on that. So these are the projects that are working on Artelas. For gamings, we have Blade DAO and Cellular, which are the two full engine game, or you can call autonomous world, now running Artela. And they are utilizing the aspect to do the like on-chain automate NPC services that can combat with the real players. And the movement of the NPC is backed by the really complex pace finding and combating algorithm that has been integrated into the aspect. So whenever user make a specific move, the NPC will conduct a corresponding move based on the calculation result of the EVM plus the logic that have been integrated into the aspect. And this kind of realization has perfectly proved like aspects work as an on-chain GPU if we take EVM as a CPU of our, let's say, decentralized computers. So because aspect can have a next level of computation power and can like work as a perfect supplementary, a modular supplementary of the EVM in some specific scenarios and specific cases. And for DeFi, we also get some amazing developers working on some really cool stuff, like they are utilizing the aspect to eliminate the bad MEV for their DApps and recapture it for their protocol itself. And also, like they are using aspect to product, the just-in-time LP transactions to maximize the capital efficiency for their AIMM-based, DApps. And also, Aspect can work as on-chain coprocessors, which can realize the intent-based transaction natively. And another real case is about the risk control, the real-time risk control. I think I don't have to emphasize how security means a lot for Web3 worlds, basically because everything about Web3 is everything about the asset. But right now, basically we have to fully counting on the code auditing to prevent our fund from hacking. But the past experience has proved that the code auditing is not that 100% reliable. Well, I'm not trying to say that the code auditing companies, they are not reliable. just from the technical perspective, the code routing, they are actually implementation of precaution and off-chain white box solutions. And you cannot simply rely on the precaution to detect and prevent all of the kind of the risk from happening. But what about the real-time control for EVM? It has been proven infeasible because we are lack of the information about the transactions. And second, you cannot just simply run the real complex risk control logic through the EVM. But with the Aspect, this will not be the problem. For the first time, we can realize the Web2 scale real-time risk control on Web3. Like as a developer, you can integrate the risk control logic into the Aspect and put it before the block is committed. And once you combine your smart contract with such an Aspect, they will help you to analyze every of your transactions and prevent your fund from being hacked. And this kind of the implementation is really a modular and plug-in and plug-out solutions, which means as a developer, as a dApp owner, or even as a single users, you have your full discretion to decide whether you try to step into such a relationship that is like having a third party to analyze your transactions. And that's how we try to solve the dilemmas between something like privacy and securities by giving back the decision-making rights right back to the stakeholders. Now Artela is cooperating with several leading security companies in this industry to really promote the security of the Web3 into next level. Here is a real use case we conduct with several of our partners. We just deploy and replicated the curve contract on Artela network and use the Aspect to successfully prevent the reinsurance attack from happening again at the runtime level. Yeah, this is just the tip of the iceberg about the real use cases of the capability of the Aspect. And Artela, we are just on our testnet, and we just ran our first version of our hackathons, and we really get our like Artela developer communities, like transforming some of these interesting ideas into real codes, like regarding the security, the on-chain KYC, KYT stuff, the privacy, the AI, and even the gaming and the DeFi part. So yeah, like I mentioned, we are currently on our testnet, and like everybody here, we warmly welcome you to join Artela, to join us together to explore the boundary of the Web3 communities. And we'll have a booth here in Denver, and if you get any questions or if you want to share something with our team, feel free to reach out to me or anyone in Artela hoodies. And yeah, so yeah, wish you enjoying your stay in Denver. That is all for today. Thank you all. Yeah.